You have a listing up on eBay. Maybe it has a good amount of views, maybe it has some watchers, or maybe it has none of those and you're wondering why it's not selling. Well, don't worry, because today we're going to go over exactly why your eBay items aren't selling and what you can do to fix it. My name is Austin Hustles, and for the past 2 years I have been reselling on eBay. I've racked up a total of $60,000 in sales before I moved to primarily selling on Amazon, but I still know a good amount of information about reselling on eBay. I'd say the first reason your item isn't selling is because your listing is terrible. If you're making your listing from scratch, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you guys right now how I would make a listing. Actually, funny thing is, we're not gonna make a listing, we're gonna copy one. So we got this Xbox Series X white controller right here. So we're gonna go into eBay, we're gonna type up Series X controller and then white. And then we're gonna filter, hit show more, and click sold items. That shows up all the sold listings. And look, as you can see, here are the controllers, but ours aren't brand new, ours are used, so we're gonna type used in here as well. And it shows us all of the used listings. And we can see this one right here is probably the closest one, and it's the most recent sale, it looks like. So we're just gonna literally click on sell one like this, and it will preload every single like option from this listing. So it'll preload like the description, the title, and all that. So you just click sell one like this, you maybe make some changes, add your own picture, and then you list the item right there. And I'm actually not logged into my eBay account because I just got a new phone, but you get the idea. Copying a listing is way better than starting one from scratch because you're copying a listing that already sold. Like, eBay knows that the information on that listing is good for the buyer. It's better for SEO. People have already saw it, people have already bought it, you know it's good. The second reason your item isn't selling is because your pictures look terrible. The way I used to take my pictures was I would flip over a poster to where it was on the white blank side, and I would angle it against a wall and then snap a picture right there with my iPhone. But I'd also like to note that you don't need a white background. Let me show you right now how I would snap a picture for an item that I'm reselling. So the funny thing is, I actually don't have like a white background anymore. So if I ever take a picture for things that I'm reselling, I just use my mouse pad or I use like my blanket. But basically we're just gonna come into the camera app and we're gonna go into portrait or square or just a normal photo. You want to make sure it's a square photo because it looks best on eBay, and basically just line it up to where, you know, you can see the item in the middle and then the rest of the background is just one color. Snap that picture, you're good to go. Take a few extra pictures of the sides and the back and then put it up on your eBay listing. But like, you don't need a white background, just make sure your background is like a neutral color like black, gray, or white, and it's all the same color. Like, you're pretty much fine as long as your background isn't like neon green or hot pink. Just make it look visually appealing. Another reason your item isn't selling well is because it might not be in demand or the supply is way too high. What do I mean by this? Let's take a look at this Reezy Talks 100th episode box that has Gary Vee on it, and let's go ahead and search it up onto eBay. Reezy resells Gary Vee box. We can see we have two right there that aren't sold, but then we're gonna go ahead and click at the sold items. And look, there's none that have sold, or at least none that are showing up with the keywords that I'm searching. Basically, this shows that there's not much demand for this item. So if you just list every random thing in your room, some of that stuff won't sell just because it's not in demand. If you're just listing it because you think it looks cool, you should probably make it an auction since it doesn't have any historical sales data. On the flip side, your item may have too much supply in the market. For example, I have an Xbox Series X like box. That sounds weird, but Xbox Series X box. Let's look this up on eBay. Filtered by sold items. And as you can see, you know, the sales aren't very recent. We can check the recent ones by going sort, end date, recent first. And you know, the sales are kind of inconsistent. Like, look, there's not a lot of these boxes selling. But then if we take off the sold listing filter and we see all the ones that are in stock, there's a bunch. Or these are like normal Xboxes, but if we just search up empty box, we're gonna see a bunch of empty boxes that are not selling. These are all sitting, nobody's buying them because there's way too much supply for the current demand in the market. So maybe the item you're trying to sell just has way too much competition, or nobody even wants that item. Make sure you check both those things. And now this last thing is probably the most important. If your listing looks good, your photos are decent, and the supply and demand is decent, the last thing you need is patience. You shouldn't be wasting your time worrying about whether or not an item will flip. Instead, use that time to source more items and rack up even more profit. And if your item hasn't sold after a year, just make it an auction starting at a penny. A lot of the stuff we resell on eBay are from thrift stores and garage sales, and it costs us a few cents to a few dollars. So we can afford to let that stuff sit for a while. But what we can't afford is wasting time stressing about whether or not this item will sell. Use that time more efficiently to source more products. Now get out there and sell your items. To the left of me, I have an old eBay video. Please go ahead and check it out if you are interested. Right down below, subscribe button. If you learned something, please go ahead and smash that. But my name is Austin Hustles. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'm out. Later.